Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it. Carson Wentz has been traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a third-round pick and a 2022 second-round pick that can become a first if Carson Wentz plays more than 75% of his snaps. There's a lot to uncover here. There's a lot to talk about. I have a lot of thoughts flowing in, so let's just get it all out on the show. I'm Yosinat Castile, and you're watching The Sound of Sports. Okay, so let's start from the trade itself. And I think the Colts, I'll just say it up front, I think the Colts won the trade. I don't think it's much of a question. The Colts, in my opinion, fleeced the Eagles here. And I think that goes on Howie Roseman. I mean, Howie Roseman has messed up this whole Carson Wentz situation from the very beginning. All the way back from 5 years ago. He messed all of this up. Paying him too early, drafting a backup quarterback, giving Nick Foles a statue, which I know isn't on Howie Roseman, but it just goes to what the Eagles organization has done to Carson Wentz and how they messed this up from the very beginning. But this trade is no different. Why did Howie Roseman ask for 2 firsts? Why did he ask for Matt Stafford type deal? Nobody was going to give him that. He messed this up from the beginning. And now the Philadelphia ended up with no first round picks. They might get one in a year from now, but he asked for two first-round picks, and instead we settled for maybe a first-round pick a year from now. So Colts won this trade. They gave up almost nothing for a quarterback who I believe still has a ton of talent. We'll get into that a little bit later. And for Indianapolis, this is exactly, in my opinion, what they needed. A big-arm quarterback, a guy who's mobile, somebody who can take this team to the next level. Because Phillip Rivers, first of all, no disrespect to Phillip Rivers, but I feel like he held the team back a little bit. I think he wasn't necessarily mobile enough. He looked old when he was throwing the ball. I think he held the team back. Now you're bringing in a 27-year-old quarterback who sure had a bad season, but gives you everything that you want. A big arm, he's mobile, he's young. I can't see why Indianapolis would be upset about this. I understand they're taking in a lot of money from the contract, but let me remind you that they have one of the best cap situations in the league. So there's not too much to worry about there in terms of money. So I think for Indianapolis, this was perfect. For Philadelphia, there is a lot to figure out here, and this will start coming up when I start doing my mock drafts very soon. What is Philadelphia trying to do here? Because immediately after we trade Wentz, Philadelphia trades Wentz, the first thing that comes up is, Philadelphia wants to bring in competition for Jalen Hurts. Well, isn't that exactly what destroyed Carson Wentz? Why are you bringing in more competition? Can Philadelphia just figure out who their guy is just for next season? If Jalen Hurts isn't working by next season, fine, then you move on. But why are you trying to create a controversy when there is none needed? For Carson Wentz, this is everything you ever wanted. You're going from a dysfunctional franchise who just fired their Super Bowl winning coach and is completely getting destroyed and taken apart from the top all the way down to the bottom to, in my opinion, one of the most complete rosters in the league. And his former offensive coordinator, this is a dream come true for Carson Wentz. He's going into a top 3 O-line. He's going to a team with competent weapons, with a top 10 defense. I think Carson Wentz, in my opinion, there is no question he's going to rebound. Everybody's like, we're not so sure. He had an awful 2020 season. Sure, he did. But people are forgetting that 9 months before he got benched, he just put together a season where he put together 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. This guy is a baller. And now you're putting him on a roster like Indianapolis with a coach like Frank Reich. I think Carson Wentz is going to excel. And just to conclude my thoughts, I try to stay as unbiased as possible on this show. I am a Philly fan. I am a Carson Wentz fan. I mean, I've been an advocate for him for the last 5 years. I own 3 of his jerseys, for God's sake. But as somebody who has followed him closely and somebody who has a lot of emotion invested in this trade, I have to say I am extremely disappointed with the Eagles organization. I think they failed. I think they failed us from the beginning. They failed Carson Wentz when they drafted Hurts. They failed Carson Wentz when they put a statue of Nick Foles outside. They failed Carson Wentz when they decided to pay him too early. They failed Wentz. I'm not saying that Wentz didn't play terribly last year, but I'm sorry, he wouldn't have played so terribly if they could have just built a decent team around him. Guys, over the last 7 years, Philadelphia has not drafted a first-round Pro Bowler outside of Carson Wentz. Let that sink in. They do not help him. And I'm genuinely happy for him that he's going to a place like Indianapolis. And one more thing about Philadelphia is this is a success story in Philadelphia. This is maybe one of the biggest success stories in Philadelphia. Maybe it didn't end well, but it's still a success story. Because if it wasn't for Carson Wentz, if it wasn't for what he did in 2017, his 11-2 record, being an MVP, we would have never won the Super Bowl. And that's just a fact. It's a fact that Carson Wentz is almost fully responsible for the Super Bowl. Sure, he didn't play in it, but he is a huge reason why there is a Lombardi trophy to the name of the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is a success story. It was worth every single bit of time and penny that was used on Wentz. Philly fans, don't exaggerate. This was a good story with a bad ending. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram, where I post daily stuff on my stories, opinions. I also post stuff on my daily life. If you guys are interested in that, please go ahead and follow it. It's at Edan Castile. Thank you guys so much, and have a good one.